What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Marketing Seed Radio episode 95. And I got a question for you. How do you feel about performance enhancement in sports or games in general? So, are you of the variety where you're like, test everyone, make sure nobody's cheating, or you're like, test no one, let them take whatever super steroids they want to and get in there and play the game? That way, everybody for sure is on an even playing field. I'm not in charge of them. So recently, the reason I ask is this. Recently, another MMA superstar, somebody that I looked up to for a very long time, and got popped for performance-enhancing drugs. And, while I'm sure only a few people know the actual real details, I don't want to jump to any conclusions, but this is the way I feel about performance-enhancing drugs, specifically in the game of combat sports, whether that's MMA, boxing, jiu-jitsu, or at least combat jiu-jitsu, maybe not jiu-jitsu. Anyway, strength is only one attribute of any fighter. You have different drugs for different things. Different things can enhance your performance in different ways, and the thing that this guy got popped for was EPO, which is like, I was listening to the Joe Rogan Experience this morning. They were talking about it was what the Tour de France dudes were popping, and it makes your blood like paint because it's filling it up with so much oxygen. There's just so much room. But in my opinion, performance enhancement drugs in the game of combat sports is just by definition wrong. It's the health and well-being of that athlete is on the line every time he or she steps in the cage. And trust me when I tell you this, brain damage and CTE don't need any outside help from performance enhancement. And fighting itself is dangerous. It's high-stakes problem solving, but you got to draw the line somewhere. We can't increase the chances of somebody dying. That's just my own personal opinion, but that raises a good question here. But, of course, cheat codes have existed since the dawn of games themselves. So where do you, really draw the line here? Is it okay to have performance enhancement drugs in baseball for more home runs? Yeah, I remember growing up back in the day, that home run race between Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa. It was like, I didn't care they were on steroids. I just like to see the ball fly. They're not hurting anybody. Performance enhancement for professional gamers to be able to focus better and react quicker after sitting in place for long hours at a time, sacrificing their own health. What about in the game of business, the game of your health, the game of life? It's like, what if you could radically enhance your results and fulfillment in your personal game of life without performance enhancement techniques, or with performance enhancement techniques, rather? Like, what would that be like for you? What would that look like to me? And that would mean I could get to success faster. And this is what success means to me. Success means spending more time doing what you love at a level that's both challenging and rewarding. Like, that is the fun zone. Like, it's all hard work, but how can you make it to where it's challenging and rewarding? Like, you just barely get there. But it was fun to just barely make it. It's like, oh man, like, that's a rush right there. Like, how can you capitalize on that rush as much as possible? Because that's your body's biological reward system rewarding you and propelling you into success, which leads me into taking time for yourself to be the healthiest, most vibrant person that you could possibly be, so you can run more, play more, dance more, be that leader that your movement deserves. And, innovating and growing on a daily basis in skills that you want to pick up in business and life. That's the ultimate way to make sure you're staying cutting edge, special and unique, and growing, but also being able to stay connected with yourself and others around you, whether that be your spouse, your inner circle of folks, your closest friends. What would your life be like if you could essentially put performance-enhancing drugs on those things, performance-enhancing drugs on your health, wealth, and relationships? If the game of life actually does, that's Sadybud saying hello. If the game of life has any cheat codes, I am out to find them. And I promise you, I will let you know what I find out, because I'm all for results, fulfillment, and enhancement of joy in our lives. And that's why I take this gamification approach. And that's why I'm so adamant on it. And, you know, without the hero being in tune with the hero, there is no other journey. And it all starts with you right here today. And just remember, you are one upgrade away.